As a teenager, did you ever belt out one of your favorite pop songs? And you went for it, and you used the hairbrush as a mic.
Absolutely.
Didn't you feel like a star? You felt powerful. And Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, where are you? There you are. And guests, and all you budding speakers. You know, I've often wondered why that is. Why it gives you such a thrill, and why you're a star, and why you feel all that power when you use a microphone. Well, according to the American famous TV personality, he says, his name is Willard Scott, but he says that without a mic, just another person. So the mic does give you power. So what I hope you're going to get out of today's presentation is that you learn the advantages and disadvantages, also the technique, and understand the difference between all the different microphones. And I hope that with that knowledge, you'll be able to use, choose, and not abuse the microphones, so that you can be the change. I don't know what it is, but have you been to a convention? Have you ever been to an AGM? Sometimes people get asked, invited up to speak right up here, and they get offered the microphone. And they decide to refuse that offer. And that often results in people way out the back saying, I can't hear you. Now they're either not comfortable using the microphone, or they underestimate the power of their projection. They think they can project their voice better than they really can. So, I want you to, what do I want you to do? I want you to use a microphone. But more than that, I'm going to start off with the microphone, which is called a handheld microphone, which is very similar to this. Now, David Glickman, he is an American professional speaker and a professional comedian, and he loves the held hand microphone. He was finishing a gig, and two people out of the audience came up. It was a husband and wife, and they were really well off. They could afford him. And they asked him, David, could you do that gig for us? He says, yeah, sure, no worries. How many will there be? It'll just be me and my wife. Yeah, no worries. Should we invite our neighbours? Yeah, invite your neighbours, invite your friends, it doesn't matter. When he got to this gig, you know how many people that were there? There were 7. He still used the microphone because he believes that the microphone gives you authenticity, credibility, and lifts you to a higher level. Let me repeat that. It gives you authenticity, credibility, and lifts you to a higher level. Now you can hear me both the time, but I'm sure you'll agree with me, when I said it with the microphone, it gave me much more, it was much more impactful. The other thing he likes about the handheld microphone is that you can change the dynamics. When I said 7, you can't do that with a lapel mic, for example. So you can punch words by bringing your microphone closer. Not only that, I can whisper to you, which you can't do without a microphone if you've got a lot of people out there. So it allows you to speak the way you want to speak by just adjusting where the microphone is. And the other thing is that you can talk much more conversationally without having to stress, especially if it's a half-a-day seminar. You will not wreck your voice or strain your voice. So, what are the disadvantages of a microphone? Or a handheld, in particular, a handheld one? Well, the one is the turning of the head. You lose the volume. When you turn the head to the side to address an audience, and you forget for the mic, take the mic with you, you lose the volume. The other thing is what I call the big fish. I mean, that's how big the fish was. We are so used to using gestures in Toastmasters, and when we get a mic, we forget we cannot use this hand gesture. And the other thing is, when we get really engaged in our topic, I call this one the navel, because slowly the mic, and I've seen it many times, drops down to your navel, and I don't know what's going on there, but I'll bring it back up. So, there are the disadvantages. It's like a prop, and you need to know how to use it, and Murphy's always lurking around there, so things can go wrong more than if you're not using a microphone, so I'll admit that. So what I want you to tell me is, what other microphones are you aware of? Lapel. That's also sometimes called a lavalier, which is the French word for it, or they shorten to lev. Anybody else? Any other? What do you call that? It's not, I don't know. It's often referred to as the console microphone or a Latin microphone, but the more common name is they call it a gooseneck microphone. And I'll talk a little bit why it's called a gooseneck microphone. You've probably got a hint already. Any other microphones?
Oh, that you brought it.
The headset, very good. I like that one, and I'm going to talk about all these microphones. There's another one called the shotgun microphone. Who's heard of that? Okay. Do you know what they use it for mainly?
So if you're playing football and playing some shit.
Sort of, yes. I will talk about that very briefly, just to make a point later on. So I'll start with the lapel microphone. So the lapel microphone is one that sits on your lapel, or sometimes if it's on a woman's top, they can stick it down there. And the advantage is that it frees your hand, it frees your mind. The other advantage is that you can walk with it. This is one that, if this was an insurer, I'd have to watch it, but you can walk quite freely with it without having to worry that you're stepping on the board, it's going to tangle you up. Can anybody think of another advantage? No? Okay, you look promising.
You've got both hands to gesture.
Sorry?
You've got both hands to gesture.
That's right, exactly. The disadvantage is that sometimes they put it up here, and it's still the same problem when you turn your head. Yes, you can put it in the center, but I was watching The Groom. You know the program called Groom, or the Groom program about advertising, and they make a lot of fun with Will Anderson in the middle. Will Anderson actually has the lapel mic right here on his chest. But you'll notice the people on his, it's actually on his right. It's on his right. They'll have the lapel mic on this side. Both of them, because they are normally talking to Will. The audience up there, they're talking to Will. So they put it on the mic so that they're mainly got the head turned that way so they get good constant volume all the time. So, but most of the time you can put it in the middle. What else? I think that's pretty much the lapel mic covered. The other mic that I want to raise is the headset. You said the headset, that's right. So the headset, I like that the most, apart from the fact that it takes away the dynamics of a handheld mic. But it sits around about there, and you can move your head quite easily, and it stays the same volume. You don't have to think about it at all. The only disadvantage is that you lose the dynamics, as I said, but the other disadvantage is that some people, when they put it on themselves, they got it this close. And when they have it this close, you get... I know some people get excited by heavy breathing, but we don't actually need that. So that is one of the disadvantages. The disadvantage too is that sometimes it's more obvious that you're wearing a mic. Even though they have a skin tone on the mic, you can still tell. But with the lapel mic, you can actually, if you do it correctly, hide it. But you've got to be careful when you hide it, that it's padded. Because with the lapel mic, you can get the rustling of clothes, even when it's not hidden. And especially if you've got synthetic clothes on, the static can also cause problems. And the same with jewelry on women. It can actually, when if they're really dramatically gesturing, it can actually touch the mic and you get this noise, and it's distracting from the message you're trying to get across. So the gooseneck, I love this one, and I've got some really good examples of this one. But the gooseneck has got a long stem. And the reason why you have a long stem is because it's flexible. So you can, if you're a short person And you need to be courageous to just grab it and push it down. And make sure you grab it on the neck, because again, it's usually turned up. And if you grab it here, this is what happens. So grab it here and then bring it over to your level where your mouth is. The disadvantages of the gooseneck mic is that you can't move away from it. Actually, you might be. If you're going to do it, at least face your mouth towards the mic so that they can pick you up. At the last convention in Melbourne, people were moving away from the mic and they could still magically be heard. And the reason why is they had a really good sound system at the back with his hand on the volume control. I went and talked to him afterwards to ask him if that's what he did. And that's exactly it. And he could actually still, people's voice could still be registered 2 meters away from the microphone. That guy should have got a bonus. He was so good. So, I mentioned the shotgun. The shotgun brings me to the point I want to raise to do with a shotgun microphone is what they call a unidirectional microphone. So, we don't use it much at all in Toastmasters, there's no need for it. But for drummers, for example, they will use it because they'll stick it in and they will only pick up the drumming music, not the guitar music, not any other extraneous music, and that's, or noise, and that is why I have unidirectional. And the lapel mic, they also now make unidirectional, so they will only pick up your voice and not any of the other extraneous noises. The thing is that they are omnidirectional, and they'll pick up everything, and there are also what they call cardioid microphones. This is very close to a cardioid microphone, but it is not really. And with a cardioid microphone, they normally have the top, the front. Did you notice my voice went away then? I'll tell you about that in a minute. The sides, not at the back. So most of them are like that. This one's different. This one is more unidirectional, and this is the sweet spot here. And this is more of a singer's microphone, because they hold the microphone like that, and they are able to express emotions with a very soft voice. And that's the idea. But you may be thinking, I hope you were thinking, if I need to have the front of the microphone facing me to get the most out of that mic, how will I know what's the front? Anybody got any ideas?
There's a colour front door.
Say that again.
There's a colour front door.
No.
That you know there's a front. I don't know.
No, normally they have I'll tell you. Normally they have a brand, and that's the front. Or they may just have some text, and that's the front. Or they may have the on and off switch. So that's why it's facing towards me. So that pretty much covers all the different types of microphones you're going to be exposed to. But the other thing that I want to just raise is the fact that this is a microphone with a cord. Did you ever perform at the Rocket Story Slam in Carlton? Okay. Nearly every past district governor, I know you're not a past district governor, but you're in associate, I thought you might have known. They all went to Carlton, did the Rocket Story Club, and we always had one of these, and it was a very short lead. And if you were to go running with, in part of your speeches, it would be like the old Walt Disney cartoon when the man walking after the dog sees another dog, and the dog goes, choo! That's what one lady did, and she went, choo! So you've got to watch it. And the other thing about the corded microphone is a lot of people, when they're nervous, this is singers as well, they fiddle with it. It's the equivalent of hands at the front. It's a nervous gesture, and it tells, and also they start to fiddle with it. And again, it's distracting. So just leave the cord alone and just get on with your presentation. This microphone in some way is better than a wireless microphone because these will not play up. Because you've got the cord directly to it, it's very simple. The wireless microphone is more sophisticated and there's a higher percentage of you actually them not working for you. So that is just something to keep in mind. So I would just like to wrap up now with what I've said. I've basically talked about the advantages and disadvantages of different styles of microphones. I've mentioned the different styles of microphones, the handheld, the lapel mic, the headset, and also the gooseneck one. So I'm just hoping that you will take these things on board to increase your knowledge, to be more comfortable with microphones. Use microphones now that you know how to use them a little bit better. The more you do it, the better you experience. I want you to use, choose, and not abuse the microphones so you can be